Let's take a look at job-based structures of job evaluation. Job analysis and job descriptions collect and summarize information about work. There's an equally important process to place value on jobs, how to assess that value, and how to translate it into a job-based structure. Job evaluation is this process for determining relative value of a job. Job evaluation is the process of systematically determining the relative worth of jobs to create a job structure for an organization. The evaluation is based on a combination of job content, skills required, and value to the organization. Content refers to what work is performed and how it gets done. Perspectives differ on whether job evaluation is based on job content or job value. Internal alignment based on content orders jobs on the basis of the skills required for the jobs and the duties and responsibilities associated with the jobs. A structure based on job value orders jobs on the basis of the relative contribution of the skills, duties, and responsibilities of each job to the organization's goals. Job value may also include the job's value in the external market. The exchange value plus pay rates may be influenced by collective bargaining or other negotiation. In addition, the value added by the same work may be more or less in one organization than in another. Some see job evaluation as a process for linking job content and internal value with external market rates. Aspects of job content, like skills required and customer contacts, take on value based on their relationship to market wages. Because higher skill levels usually command higher wages in the labor market, then skill level and the nature of customer contacts becomes useful criteria for establishing differences among jobs. Job evaluation is an important tool for organizations that wish to differentiate themselves from competitors if, for example, their particular strategy relies more heavily on certain jobs or skills than is the case in other organizations. Some researchers say that only fair measure of job value is found in the external market. Job evaluation is part of the process for establishing an internally aligned pay structure. A structure is aligned if it supports the organization's strategy, fits the workflow, is fair to employees, and motivates their behavior toward organization objectives. Job evaluation can reduce disputes and grievances over pay differences among jobs by establishing a workable, agreed upon structure that reduces the role of chance, favoritism, and bias in setting pay. Job evaluation calls out to employees what is about their work and organization's values and what supports organizational strategy and success. Many employers design different evaluation plans for different types of work. They do so because they believe that work content is too diverse to be usefully evaluated by one plan. To be sure that all relevant aspects of work are included in the job evaluation, an organization may start with a sample of benchmark or key jobs. A benchmark job are well known and relatively stable over time. The job is common across a number of different employers, and a reasonable proportion of the workforce is employed in this job. A representative sample of benchmark jobs will include the entire domain of work being evaluated administrative, manufacturing, technical, and so on and capture the diversity of the work within that domain. Typically, a job evaluation plan is developed using benchmark jobs, and then the plan is applied to remaining non benchmark jobs. Ranking, classification, and point method are the most common job evaluation methods, though uncounted variations exist across the professional and practical field. Research over 40 years consistently finds that different job evaluation plans generate different pay structures. In a survey of over 1,000 compensation professionals, market pricing was overwhelmingly chosen as the primary method of job evaluation. Market pricing is directly matching as many of your organization's jobs as possible to external pay surveys. Ranking simply orders job descriptions from highest to lowest based on global definition of relative value or contribution to organizational success. Ranking is simple, fast, and easy to understand and explain to employees. However, it can create problems because it doesn't tell employees and managers what is important about their jobs. Two ways of ranking are common: alternation ranking and paired comparison. The paired comparison method uses a matrix to compare all possible pairs of jobs. Alternation ranking orders job descriptions alternately at each extreme. Agreement is reached among evaluators on which jobs are most and least valuable, then the next most and least valued until all jobs have been ordered. Alternation ranking and paired comparison methods may be more reliable, produce similar results consistently than simple ranking. However, evaluators using this method must be knowledgeable about every single job under study. Point methods have three common characteristics. First, compensable factors, with second, degree factors numerically scaled, and third, weight reflecting the relative importance of each factor. Each job's relative value and hence its location in the pay structure is determined by the total points assigned to it. Compensable factors are based on the strategic direction of the business and how the work contributes to these objectives and strategy. The factors are scaled to reflect the degree to which they are present in each job and weighted to reflect their overall importance to the organization. Points are then attached to each factor weight. The total points for each job determines its position in a job structure. Compensable factors are those characteristics that help an organization pursue its strategy and achieve its objectives. If the internal structure's purpose is to aid managers, those managers should be involved in the process of designing it. A common approach is to use committees, task force, or teams that include representatives from key operating functions, including non managerial employees. In some cases, the group's role is only advisory. In others, the group designs the evaluation approach, chooses compensable factors, and approves major changes. Organizations with unions often find it that including union representatives help to gain acceptance of results. Research suggests that attending to the fairness of the design process and the approach chosen, rather than focusing solely on results, is likely to achieve employee and management commitment, trust, and acceptance of results. Additional research is needed to ascertain whether the payoffs from increased participation offset potential cost. No matter what technique, no job evaluation plan anticipates all situations. It's inevitable that some jobs will be incorrectly evaluated, or at least employees and managers may suspect that they were. When the evaluations are completed, approval by higher levels of management is required. An approval process helps ensure that any changes that result from evaluating work are consistent with organizational objectives. It is the decision making process, rather than the instrument itself, that seems to have the greatest influence on pay outcomes. The final result of job analysis, a job description, job evaluation is a process or a structure, a hierarchy of work. This hierarchy translates the employer's internal alignment policy into practice. Organizations commonly have multiple structures derived through multiple approaches that apply to different functional groups or units. Internal alignment is most influenced by fair and equitable treatment of employees doing similar work in the same skill.